Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you people would be taking good care of yourself and must be working hard. Girls, your papers are expected soon. प्लीज़ आप लोग अपना काम जो है वो टाइमली किया करें और कोशिश करें कि आपके जो भी रिमेनिंग चीज़ें हैं, जो भी कन्फ्यूजन्स हैं, other than even these particular presentations or lectures, if you have got any questions, you can ask us in the particular groups and we are there to help you out. As we were talking about your syllabus of test number 3, so this is the last thing perhaps which we are left with. This is your poem number 16, God's Attributes. It's written by Jalaluddin Rumi, and at the end of the presentation you'll get a pairs of words, and then there are 5 sentences of putting the correct form of verb are also given at the end of this presentation. God's Attributes, it's written by Jalaluddin Rumi. So in this presentation we'll talk about the summary of the poem, then as usual we'll go for reference, context and explanation of the given text of the poem, and at the end we'll talk about the significance of God's attributes. That is the real theme of the poem. This is a religious poem. The writer is known to be a philosophic poet, where he has suggested that the attributive names of Allah Almighty, these are not mere titles, rather He Almighty possesses all these powers, and these powers are carrying some sort of particular significance in them. So the writer says that these attributive names of God, as in this poem he has discussed only 3, that Allah Almighty sees, hears and knows all the things. So these 3 attributive names of God are sort of a checkpoint which make us think that if Allah Almighty is seeing us, if He is hearing us, and if He knows all the things which we do, we are going to stop from doing wrong, and it will be quite good for our characters and moral characters and character building as well. So as you know that these lines have been taken from the poem God's Attribute. It's written by Jalaluddin Rumi. In context, we'll talk about the central idea, and that is that in this poem the writer has discussed this the attributes of God. Through this he wanted to convey the message that these attributive names of God are not mere vain titles, rather they serve a purpose, a very useful purpose, that is to help human beings, to help the believers to stop from committing bad deeds, from using bad language, or from plotting an evil against others. The first stanza is based on the first attribute, that is seeing. So in these lines the writer says that Allah Almighty calls himself seeing, यानी अल्लाह ताला ने खुद को बसीर कहा है, खुद को देखने वाला कहा है. इसका मतलब क्या है? It means that when being a believer in Allah Almighty, हम इस चीज़ में भी बिलीव करते हैं कि He is seeing all the things. हम जो भी कर रहे हैं, that is being watched by Allah Almighty. No matter we are doing that thing in front of the people or we are hiding anything, we cannot hide things from Allah Almighty. So if we really believe in this particular attribute of God, then you see we are going to stop from doing wrong deeds. अगर हम इस चीज़ में यकीन कर लें और वाकई इस चीज़ के ऊपर हमारा ईमान हो कि अल्लाह ताला हमें हमेशा देख रहे हैं, तो फिर हम बुरे काम करने से रुक जाएंगे. In the second stanza, the writer says that God Almighty calls himself hearing to the end, so that the people can stop from using foul language. यानी अल्लाह ताला ने खुद को समी कहा है, सुनने वाला कहा है. अगर हम being a true believer इस चीज़ में believe रखते हैं that whatever language we are using, that is being heard by Allah Almighty. No matter we are saying something in front of a person, or we are doing backbiting, or we are using the language in the absence of the person about someone, no matter someone listening to it or not, Allah Almighty always listens. And this feeling of being heard by Allah Almighty can help us from refraining ourselves from using the foul language. यानी लैंग्वेज के बैड यूजेज से ये चीज़ हमें सेव कर सकती है. In the third stanza, Again, the writer has talked about the third quality. यानी जैसे उसने फर्स्ट स्टेंजा में बात की थी सीइंग की, देखने की, बसीर की. सेकंड में he says that Allah Almighty is hearing to the end. In the third one he says that Allah Almighty is knowing. He knows all the things. Alim का जो लक़ब है अल्लाह पाक का. तो through this the writer wanted to convey the message that if you have got a strong faith in this thing कि जो भी हम करते हैं that is known by him. हमारे तमाम अमाल का पता अल्लाह ताला को है, चाहे वो हम किसी के सामने करते हैं या हम अगर किसी के ख़िलाफ़ कुछ कॉन्स्पायर भी करते हैं, हम अगर किसी के ख़िलाफ़ कोई साजिश करते हैं और हमें ऐसा लगता है कि उस बंदे को तो पता ही नहीं है, बट अगर हमारे अंदर ये फीलिंग डेवलप हो जाए कि और किसी को पता है या नहीं, अल्लाह ताला को सब कुछ पता है. सो व्हेन वी develop this particular feeling, when we develop this particular belief in ourselves, then we are not going to plot an evil against anyone. यानी अगर हम वाकई इस चीज़ में यकीन कर लें कि अल्लाह ताला सब कुछ जानने वाले हैं और वो किसी भी साजिश का रुख हमारी तरफ फेर सकते हैं, whatever evil we are plotting against anyone that can come back to us, so then we are going to stop from plotting an evil against other people. In the fourth stanza, the writer has concluded. He says that these attributive names of Allah Almighty are not mere vain titles. These are not the accidental names of the first cause. By first cause, he means Allah Almighty. And then he says, as a Negro cannot be called camphor, like if something does not possess the quality of another thing, then we cannot refer to that thing. यानी अगर एक पर्टिकुलर चीज़ के अंदर कोई क्वालिटी नहीं होती है तो हम उसको उस क्वालिटी के नाम से नहीं बुला सकते हैं till there is some sort of existence of that particular quality in that element. So he has given an example over there as well. In short, you can say that this poem talks about the significance of God's attributes, where the writer wants to convey the message that through these attributive names of Allah Almighty, we can improve ourselves and we can refrain ourselves from doing wrong, from seeing wrong, from speaking wrong, and in this way we can have very strong moral characters. Now this is your part, girls. You are directed to go for all the synonyms and MCQs along with the question answers, and please prepare reference to the context with explanation and write it down as well. 5 pairs of words are given for you. You'll make sentences of these pairs. So the first one is night and night. The second one is mirror and mirror, right and right, sort and sort, and the last one is excess and access. Correct form of verb. 5 sentences have been given and then 5 verbs are given in bracket. You will be using the correct form of verb in the given blank. See the first sentence. The first sentence is my friend, a blank is left, me a watch, and the verb which is given, that is present. So whatever is a suitable form of this verb, you'll be putting that one. The second sentence is this road blank to my office, and lead is the verb. So you'll be again placing the correct verb. Third sentence is he should blank is left before then another blank. In the same sentence we have got 2 blanks and anything. So he should, whatever form of thing should come, you should place that and then says correct form also. I will have blank my task by the night, and the verb which is given, that is finish. And the last sentence is it dash to make a curl, and the verb is take. So you, and in all the sentences these are now a little bit more technical. In some of the sentences you'll see that there are no direct clues given. Now you should improve your level and try to put the correct form of verb. If you will not be able to do that, obviously I'll be telling you. Okay, girls, if you have got any confusion, if something is still not clear, you are most welcome to ask. Please keep working hard and keep preparing for the papers. Thanks a lot.